I don't know when we developed this idea that Twitch streamers were role models, because they're not. They literally sit in front of a computer and stream themselves for 10 hours a day playing video games. They're the farthest thing away from a role model. That's what xQc does. I'm not going to hype him up as this like moral god or this absolutely inspirational figure. He sits in front of a computer and plays video games. It's not that deep, bro.
But I think the bigger problem are the gambling addicts, the addictive personalities, the people who know in their head that it is rigged, that this is mathematically meant to make me lose, but do not have the self-control to not gamble. And any slight trigger will send them over the edge. And you can say, well, then just don't watch the content. But it's fucking hard. It's fucking hard as a gambling addict, okay?
I mean, and that's what I'll go back to saying. It's like, you don't have to watch xQc streams. You don't have to watch gambling streams. AiA episode 34, xQc is gambling on Twitch again, and this has made the rounds for the past week. And after everyone has given their takes, I decided to cover this topic because the takes on this topic have been absolutely insane to me. I don't know why there is drama on this topic, but every single streamer and YouTuber decided to step in and give their 2 cents on it, which I don't really understand how this turned into this, but regardless, let's get into it. So basically, xQc, he has a clip here I will show, but to sum it all up, he said he really doesn't give a fuck about, the gambling on Twitch. So basically, if you don't know, a year ago, xQc had a deal with stake.com. He was gambling on Twitch, and he did it for a couple of months, but eventually, from enough backlash from the creators, Twitch, and some of his community, he eventually stopped. And he decided to just gamble off stream at that moment and never really gambled on stream. But he was still gambling a lot off stream. He said when he was on Pokey Stream, I remember this, that he lost like 1.9 million just in, a month. So then he started gambling on Twitch again, and obviously the drama ensued, but I wanted to show you this clip, and this is basically just him addressing it when it first started, the drama happened. So let's get into it.
It says you. Nah, it's not what it says you though. Everybody threw us all under the bus when the chips were down. Everybody turned on us. It was a bunch of bitches. But when some streamers and some other ones, oh guys, I'm gonna gamble. I'm my gambler. All the comments, everybody flipped and like, oh dude, if it was that much money, I would do it too. I respect this guy. And like, people were selectively choosing and picking who they back up when if your whole motive and whatever is behind morals and ethics, you can't pick and choose. It's black or white or wrong. And I got fucking mauled. I seen people fucking being oh, we're gonna pick this and choose it and choose that. And you know what, dude? At the end of the day, I was like, dude, I love gamba. I like gamba. I'm just gonna gamba. End of story. Literally, I will just do what I enjoy doing.
And ultimately, that's where the take should have ended, because he basically just said that, hey, I want to gamble, and why can't I gamble? Because there's lots of other Twitch streamers that do it too. Trainwrecks, who's another massive Twitch streamer, has been gambling on Twitch for years, and no one really says anything about it. I mean, some people have problems with it, but you don't see this amount of backlash every single day like we have with, xQc in the past week, which is quite odd in my opinion, because you can see a lot of Twitch streamers have a lot of sort of respect for Trainwrecks, even though he gambles and now xQc's doing it, there's some sort of problem. But anyways, then xQc basically doubled down here, but he did say in this post that, he can accept the criticism. He can, that's on his subreddit and his Discord or whatever for the fans not liking it, but they can go their own way. But the biggest thing he said out of this post, and if you want to read the full post, I will link this article in the description, so if anyone wants to read that. But basically he said that he's not a role model, which that is very important to say because I don't know when we developed this idea that Twitch streamers were role models because they're not. They literally sit in front of a computer and stream themselves for 10 hours a day playing video games. They're the farthest thing away from a role model. So if we honestly believe that they are role models, I must have missed the memo somewhere. Because I would say that most online figures probably shouldn't be considered role models. Can you be inspired by them? Yes. I mean, I hope to inspire some people through my content, but that doesn't mean that I should be a role model for anyone. I mean, I just make stupid videos online. I'm not a role model. I'll say that straight up. But anyways, we have two videos I wanted to react to, and this is basically Hassan Piker's take and also Ludwig's take. I think Ludwig's video was a little bit better. I haven't seen the full video, but I have seen some of it, so I know a little bit about it, but I haven't really seen what Hassan is going to say, and we also apparently have Mizkip and Asmongold in here too. So, you know, let's watch this and see what they say and kind of give an idea. I probably will pause through this a lot and have a lot of things to say, but, you know, just be prepared. Let's get into it.
I think a lot of simps of xQc are, I'm sorry to say this, but some of you are fucking, you know, dick eating pretty hard. You're dick riding like super fucking hard. Like he himself is a victim of addiction. Okay, then what the fuck? Like he's literally subjecting that to people that don't make tens of millions of dollars a year. You know what I mean? Like if your only problem with xQc gambling is that he's hypocritical about it, then you don't have a problem with him gambling. You just have a problem with hypocrisy. And that's such a strange like debate pervert thing to focus on. I don't give a fuck about like him being hypocritical. Of course he's hypocritical. Human beings are hypocritical, okay? I don't care about hypocrisy. Hypocrisy is like beefing up your argument in this situation. But ultimately what I do care about is like, you know, people actually fucking gambling and losing money in your fan base.
Yeah, so I've heard this take a lot with gambling being very addicting, which I fully concede that. But again, I would go at the same take that obviously Twitch streamers are not role models. And there are other highly addictive things that Twitch streamers do while streaming, like for instance, drinking alcohol. It's one of like the most addicting things that most adults are addicted to. But yet you don't see any of this pushback when streamers are drinking alcohol, like whatsoever. But yet all of a sudden when it comes to gambling, there's a problem. And there's a much bigger bar for entry when it comes to gambling versus drinking. Because when you go to gamble online, you obviously have to go to a website, you have to create an account, you have to put money in that account, then you have to buy a cryptocurrency, and then you have to put that, you know, deposit that into your crypto wallet, and then you can finally start gambling. But drinking, you can probably find alcohol at your house, or you could probably get it very easy. You know, it's very easy to obtain. And it's that sort of thing that really confuses me of this, that why are we, you know, kind of morally grandstanding on gambling, but we're not talking about other issues or other things that Twitch streamers do, because we know deep down they're not role models, but yet, you know, we want to focus on this one specific issue because we just don't like it, for instance. So anyways, continuing.
You think I'm the reason why he's getting fucking criticism? I'm not the reason why he's getting criticism. He's getting criticism because like he literally deep down inside, in my opinion, maybe I'm wrong, but probably recognizes that he's in the wrong in this one. And also the reason why people are criticizing xQc is because he said, I think he kind of recognizes, or at least from what he said before, he kind of recognizes that what he's doing is not great. Okay. And also on top of that has said conflicting things in the past and has like kind of hidden that he was going to do Gamba from what I understand, or at least that's what people are saying. Especially slots, like especially fucking slots, dude. Okay. Slots are just like maximized to fucking milk the most and as mathematically quick time period as possible. And every single streamer knows this. Okay, they know this. They can't help themselves. They can't stop themselves, and it's bad. Yeah, it is like the fent of gambling, but like way more accessible than fentanyl. Miskiv on gamble sponsorships if a lot of money.
He doesn't say that. No one thinks gambling is good. Everyone thinks gambling is a bad thing. It's not a good thing. You can't make an argument and say gambling is good. But I just think.
I mean, that's a solid take. I totally agree with that. Gambling is bad, just like I would say a lot of other things are bad, but it doesn't mean you shouldn't be able to do it.
Everyone has a fucking price at the end of the day, including myself. I've already said that. If I got offered $20 million fucking dollars, do I think I'd take it realistically?
Base take. Based. Okay, Ms. Kiff, okay, I like his take. Everyone has a price. Totally agree with that. And, you know, I don't even think someone as well off as Hassan doesn't even have a price, because I guarantee if someone was to come to him and say, like, hey, we'll offer you $50 million a month if you gamble, totally would say that he would take that. But again, everyone has a price, and I think xQc sort of, I don't know if he has a contract with stake.com. I think maybe he still does, but at the end of the day, I think he's doing it because he's addicted. But even for people that are not addicted, if they were to be offered a sponsorship with a lot of money, would they take it? Yeah, and it would be the same people right now giving these takes that, oh, it's so bad and xQc should stop because he shouldn't do this or whatever. It would be those same people that would take that sponsorship, because when it really comes down to it, all of these streamers and popular figures online all want to be more popular. And they know that this would bring a lot of controversy, but it would bring them a lot of popularity. And they would also be getting very rich in the process because they would have a sponsorship. So it's not rocket science to think here that if any of these people were to be offered a very good contract to gamble, they would do it.
Is this motherfucker just like baiting to get a $20 million stake sponsorship right now? Is that what's happening? Come on, bro.
If I got paid $250 million a year, I would be like question marking myself every second and being like, what the fuck do I do? And I'm sorry, I'm human. I'm not going to sugarcoat it and say that I would not, and I'm some moral god. I think everyone does have a price at the end of the
Come on, bro. Jesus Christ.
day. It's just a matter of how high. $20 million a month, I'm saying, chat.
Anyway, dude, like I said, look, I don't have a price. I won't do it. I'm very, very, very against it. But that doesn't mean that like my expectation is everyone else is going to be like this. I am also understanding of people who are falling into the whims of trying to make more money. But the question I always have for people is this: do you not have enough? Do you not have enough? What level of like what is the amount of money that you're basically saying like I don't give a shit, like I don't give a fuck if I am basically returning $20 million of like money from my fan base, $20 million plus money from my fan base to the company? Because if you're getting paid $20 million a month, okay, that means the stake thinks that you can make them $20 million plus a month. Okay, that's a lot of fucking money that they're milking from your fan base at that point.
I mean, he does make a good point that, you know, how much money is enough. And really, at the end of the day, I don't think that there's any number that most people put on like, oh, if I make this much, then that's enough. Because ultimately, once you get to a certain like number or value or whatever, it's basically you're just watching your bank account go up in money. And it will never be enough because it will never be maxed out. You can always deposit more money in. So, you know, ultimately, yeah, it becomes like once you take, you know, a sponsorship or whatever, you're going to keep that sponsorship. And, you know, whether you make 100 million, 200 million, 300 million, it's never going to be enough at the end of the day. And is it taking money away from your fan base? Yeah, but that's kind of what sponsorships are made to do. It's just in other ways, for instance, of selling products that are maybe subpar or maybe services that are subpar. Or in the case of gambling, just losing your money entirely. But ultimately, that's what sponsorships are. You know, normally when you see a sponsorship on someone who's a, you know, mid-tier creator or a, you know, just an online creator in general, it's probably not going to be the best quality product unless it's very high quality, unless it's like just a startup or something. But again, you know, I'm trying to make that comparison there. But he does have a good point of stealing money from the fan base.
Point. All right, where's the xQc take on this? I told the mods not to delete any threads and comments, so I would let the community voice their concerns organically. Every day, it's a new complaint, a new problem. People got so mad at me for doing Tariba for content in a content drought. I don't know what the fuck Tariba is. I'm not a hypocrite. I literally changed perspective and voiced it very clearly over the last months. I'm not here to be a role model. I'm here to have some fun, so I'll do until it becomes boring. I won't watch anymore. Okay, turn the computer off and go speak with your parents and peers if you want a role model for your moral compass. That hurt me. If you are genuinely hurt by a broadcaster doing something on their own that doesn't involve you, you probably shouldn't be watching streams. As was already in the title before I even clicked off Amber's trials, if you push misinfo, you will get smoked. Nah, I don't care. Post my logs, LSF all you want. They praise some for taking some deals and dangle it above my head like their sense of misplaced morality impacts my moves. Talking about misgive here. Making fun of me being addicted like it's a joke. Memes flying around, public opinion clowning on me for it. The minute it reflects back on them, now it's time to find victims and cry wolf. Backwards as people thinking that idiot aiming to entertain me rips away all free from vulnerable individuals. Get a grip on your own life before fixing mine. Yeah, dude, this is fucking...
I mean, personally, I think that's a really good take from him. I've already read this. I already know what he said. But again, I think this is a really good take. That he's literally saying, hey, I'm not a role model. Don't look at me as one. And it's, again, I don't know how anyone can really defend this because Twitch streamers are not role models. Can there be some Twitch streamers that are? Yes. But if you look at a Twitch streamer who literally streams 10 plus hours a day, video games at their computer 24/7, that's what xQc does. I'm not going to hype him up as this like moral god or this absolutely inspirational figure. He sits in front of a computer and plays video games. It's not that deep, bro. That's literally what he does. And that's not discrediting him because he's literally the most popular Twitch streamer and he's the most like successful single Twitch streamer out there, like the most highly paid and the most viewed. But again, that's just what he does. We have to accept that.
Dude, you can't fucking simultaneously be like, I'm a fucking victim of addiction, and you're making fun of my addiction while also recognizing that this is an incredibly addictive thing that even you yourself have gotten into, that, you know, you're subjecting your fan base to who love you, you know? That's, I don't know. If you're a Twitch streamer that's like relatively successful, you are in the top 1% of 1% of 1% of fucking luck. Like, we've already lucked out. I don't know. I find the trying to like milk it as hard as possible and trying to maximize revenue beyond like the normal forms like fucking merchandise and everything else is just not good. Especially because I can't help but think about the potential consequences that are immediate. xQc started with 250k defaulted 240 and ended up with a balance of 504k for a profit of 14k. Oh my God. Asmigel talks about Twitch career and xQc gambling. Warning loud.
A lot of people might not remember about, you guys might not remember this entirely about streaming, is that whenever you're a streamer, your career can be over. It can be over immediately. It can be over like bing, bang, boom, bada bang. Look at Dr. Disrespect. Now he went back on YouTube. He did quite well. Think about all the other people. Think about people like Ice Poseidon. You know? Everybody sees that.
Your ex is legit addicted and he's lost a ton, so this is probably a way to recoup some. Still awful pattern and it will continue. I think a lot of simps of xQc are, I'm sorry to say this, but some of you are fucking, you know, dick eating pretty hard. You're dick riding like super fucking hard. When you literally say stuff like that, that's a way to cope. Like, that's literally just to be like, oh, you know, he's just a small being. Like, he himself is a victim of addiction. Okay, then what the fuck? Like, he's literally subjecting that to people that don't make tens of millions of dollars a year. You know what I mean?
Okay, I guess to clear this up for, you know, people watching this, I'm not like a super xQc viewer. I'm not subscribed to him on Twitch or whatever. Do I watch his videos sometimes? Yes. Do I think he's entertaining? Yes. But I'm definitely not a simp of his. I'm definitely about just free choice for, you know, what you want to do, and especially gambling of all things, because, you know, let's not forget the fact that Trainwrecks is a very popular Twitch streamer and we don't hear any of this talk. Is it the fact that Trainwrecks was a gambling streamer all along? He's been doing it for so many years, so, you know, why criticize him? But I just don't understand that. Like, Trainwrecks can get like 10 to 20,000 viewers in a stream while gambling versus xQc getting like 90,000 or 100,000. So like, what is the viewer threshold here versus Trainwrecks and xQc? Because I honestly don't understand that. I want to know, is there some sort of popularity? Like, since xQc is the most popular Twitch streamer, he just cannot, you know, gamble on Twitch. Like, I really want to know that, if anyone has, you know, any sort of take on that.
If you literally fucking see that as a justification, then don't you understand that the impact is far, far, far more significant? That's just copium. If this is happening, there's only one to blame, is Twitch. If people ruin their lives, they saw a streamer gamble and they followed and lost their money, it's Twitch's fault for not banning it. I mean, Twitch is fucking culpable too, certainly. But if you also understand that Twitch is culpable for it, you recognize that like human beings are capable of making decisions that are a little bit better, right? xQc stopped gambling because there was a problem, and now saying he was wrong. There was no problem with gambling, even after acknowledging viewers lose money because of it. That's my problem. To him, it's not an issue. Yeah, I don't like that either. Like, if your only problem with xQc gambling is that he's hypocritical about it, then you don't have a problem with him gambling. You just have a problem with hypocrisy. And that's such a strange, like, debate pervert thing to focus on.
Okay, well, that was it for the Hassan video, and now we will move on to the main attraction, which is from Ludwig on his channel Mogul Mail, where it's titled Twitch Needs to Stop Gambling Streams. Now, when I saw this, I was actually quite, I guess I would say, surprised, especially coming from Ludwig of all people, because not too long ago, he actually hosted a gambling stream. It was a poker stream. Now, was it slots? No, but it was still gambling. It's literally poker. And he made this big event off of it with the biggest Twitch creators and YouTube creators with lots of money on the line. And yet he has a take coming out like this. So let's see how he words this, because I'm very interested to see how he somehow, you know, skirts the fact that he was just hosting a gambling stream that was super massive and advertised, and now has a take on xQc gambling on Twitch again. So let's see.
I'm going to tell you something that's going to shock all of you. I'm a gambling addict. I know. I haven't really talked about it much, but it's true and shocking. 5 years ago, it got so bad I had $100 left in my bank account. And you know what I did with that 100? I gambled it on a Mario Party 4 minigame against Slime and lost. I panicked, didn't know what to do, so I asked for a double or nothing, knowing that if I lost the double or nothing, I would have zero way of paying the final 200, and I would have to embarrassingly walk away from the bet. Luckily, I won. I told Slime about that months later, and he forgave me, but it just shows how bad my gambling addiction got. Honestly, there was no greater rush in my life than the opportunity to lose every last penny I had. I can't do that now because I have 15 employees, so you're welcome, Gallon, for not gambling your children's future college funds away. But I'm not the only streamer with that gambling issue. xQc has the same problem. Here's a clip of him on Pokey's podcast.
Off stream than on stream.
Yeah, I gamble every day. I lost 2 million this month.
Really?
I lost 1.85 million this month.
He lost $1.85 million off stream. He lost 100K in my poker event too. It got so bad that his dad called him on stream about how worried he was. It's a problem for him. But he's bringing the problem offline to the online realm, because this week he went back to doing online gambling streams. This went on LSF. It went on r/all. It was big news. Why? Because he's the biggest streamer in the world. And also, he said he wouldn't do it.
Like, what more can I do?
This is a clip from 10 months ago when he used to gamble online. Then there was a whole shitstorm about it. There was an H3H3 podcast. And then he said this.
What am I gonna do? You shouldn't gamble on stream. You shouldn't do it. We've known this. I said it.
Oh, what is that?
Don't do it. I'm sorry for doing it. I'm genuinely sorry that I gambled on stream. Okay?
He went back to doing it. Now,
I mean, what I would say to that is basically people's views can change. Now, did he just say that 10 months ago? Was it pretty recent? Yeah, it was less than a year ago. But people's views can change. I mean, at least for myself, if I have, you know, certain conversations or debates online and stuff, my views can change on things too. So to me, this is okay. You know, if his views changed in that amount of time, which it seems it did, that's fine. I don't hold that against him.
he says he changed his mind and that he's not a hypocrite. He just no longer feels that way. He felt pressured back then. But understandably, after fans saw this for 5 hours today, a few of them were mad. And this post, I think, speaks volumes. It's 3,000 upvoted, one of the top posts in his subreddit. And it basically says that I don't want to watch you anymore because what you are doing is making me sad. And I've been watching for like 4 years. And I don't know. I didn't think you would do this. And xQc replied in the most insane fashion by doubling down and just saying, I don't give a shit. I am not a role model for you guys. If you don't like it, leave. Which, fair enough. He's not the only streamer doing this. But why would he do it? Why do this gambling online if people are going to get really, really mad at you? And I can only think of two good reasons. One, you're already addicted in doing it offline, so you might as well do it online. And two, if you do it sponsored, you're going to make a shit ton of money. Now, the main culprit of all the online gamblings is Stake. That is the main partner. And they sponsor Aiden Ross, they sponsor xQc, and they also sponsor Train. How much do they pay these people? I don't know how much they pay xQc, but because Aiden Ross leaked his DMs, we know they pay him at least $4 million a month, which is crazy. That is an insane amount of money. In a year, that is more than Ninja made on his Mixer deal. That is more than Tom Brady makes on his NFL contract. It's a shit ton of money. It's hard to say no to that amount of money. Look, I'm not a high road guy. I'm not here to say that, I am much better. I would never take a gambling sponsorship. But I don't know if that's because I have devout morals that I stand by to a T, or because I don't want the backlash of people to be mad at me and I like the audience I've cultivated and don't want to disappoint people. I genuinely don't know the answer to that question, which maybe is a problem that I have to deal with, but that's me being honest. Look, 64 out of the top 1,000 streamers have done a crypto gambling stream. All right, it's too tempting. I mean, look at the king himself, Trainwreck. He's on a 38-hour stream right now, gambling the entire way. And the gambling is pretty liked. He is a top 11 streamer in the world. Okay, if you see this graph.
I'm glad Ludwig is at least addressing Trainwrecks, because mainly every single person that has talked about xQc gambling on Twitch has not mentioned Trainwrecks whatsoever. And as you can see right there, he's the 11th most popular streamer. That's very important to realize. And also 30,000 average viewers. I was just saying, 10 to 20,000. 30,000. And this guy is the 11th most popular streamer. So I think that really does need to be looked at, as if you criticize xQc for gambling, criticize Train as well. Because even though xQc is the #1 most subscribed, Twitch streamer, Trainwrecks apparently is number 11. So important to remember there.
Graph right here, his main success has come from gambling. People said a year ago that it would fall off and people would get bored of the gambling. No, he's bigger than ever. People like gambling content. They just like watching it. I have 3 stats for you guys. The first one, over 60% of Americans have gambled in the past year. The second one, over 80% of Americans are okay with gambling. The third stat, this is a Swedish study. It studied about 2,100 addicted gamblers. About 20% of them attempted suicide. It's a problem. But I don't think the onus of whether you gamble or do not gamble should ever be on the streamer. I have a theory where I just feel like we shouldn't rely on humans to have the morality that we are looking for. They should not be the ethical person. It should be the platform. The platform is the one that should dictate what is okay and not okay, rather than hoping that thousands and thousands of people will all abide by loose guidelines that we all think people should abide by.
And I totally agree with that. I think that if we want those guidelines, we need to have them from the platform itself. Because if we don't have it, then people are basically free to do whatever they want. Just like gambling on Twitch and, doing that sort of thing, taking gambling sponsorships. So if, everyone can come together on Twitch and say, hey, we don't want gambling, then that needs to happen from a platform standpoint.
Now, this is the current guidelines for Twitch on gambling, and it says, to prevent harm and scams created by questionable gambling services that sponsor content on Twitch, we will prohibit sharing links or referral codes. So if you ever tune into Trainwreck's stream, it will say, do not gamble, and anytime he wins, it'll say,
Gamble. Do not start. Gambling is entertainment and entertainment only. You won't break even. You won't win. You won't do any of that.
This plays every time he does a big win, which, okay, good job maybe stopping that a little bit. That's nice. But that's not going to stop people. And I know that firsthand because I remember early on when I had my sponsored poker streams, I would do a little bit of blackjack offline. I would take my poker winnings and play blackjack with it. And one day I went up big. I spun up like 1K all the way to like $10,000. And that was a lot of money. It's still a lot of money. And I went and told Slime, and I was like, oh, but please don't gamble, because I know he has a gambling addiction himself. And he didn't. The next day, I wanted to make my 10,000 into 20, and I lost all of it. I went from 10,000 to 0. And I went to tell Slime, and I said, dude, I lost everything. And he's like, it sucks, man. That same night, Slime, without telling me, put $500 onto the online casino to spin it up. After seeing me lose, he did it. And I asked him why. I was like, dude, I lost. Why would you put in money? He's like, I don't know, man. I just wanted to hit the dream one time.
I think when it comes to gambling addictions or just gambling in general, I think that it's one of those lessons that you have to learn personally. And now this is just coming from me, but from my personal experience with gambling, I have gambled on certain things in the past and I've lost a lot of money. If I look at my entire career, if you want to call it that, of gambling, I have probably lost more money than I've won. But I think that's a necessary lesson to learn because of the fact that when you hear do not gamble, but you see big winnings happen or whatever, it might be something that you have to do yourself to experience. I'm not saying you should, but for me, it was very healthy because once I lost a certain amount of money on gambling, I've never done it again. And really, I used to bet on sports. And, I think in total, I've lost a couple $100s. Nothing insane. Haven't lost thousands or anything, but probably a couple hundred. And losing that amount of money, I stopped betting. I don't do it anymore. And this was a year or two ago. And I think it was a personal lesson for me to learn. I don't think that, I have the gambling addiction or whatever, even though I think I have a very addictive personality to a lot of things, but gambling is not one of them. But I am glad I learned that lesson personally because I feel there was a lot of value in that lesson itself.
And that's it. That's the problem. All right. The argument that people always make is, this is a bad influence for the kids. The kids can't really get their hands on a lot of money. Yeah, maybe there's an example of a kid getting his mom's card and buying Bitcoin and then putting it into stake.com and gambling. But I think the bigger problem are the gambling addicts, the addictive personalities, the people who know in their head that it is rigged, that this is mathematically meant to make me lose, but do not have the self-control to not gamble. And any slight trigger will send them over the edge. And you can say, well, then just don't watch the content. But it's fucking hard. It's fucking hard as a gambling addict, okay?
I mean, and that's what I'll go back to saying. It's you don't have to watch xQc streams. You don't have to watch gambling streams. But yet, we want to create this sort of safe space where it's oh, this is addicting personality. We have to, create a safe space about it so no Twitch streamer can do this. And it's also quite odd, too, that, Twitch for, a long period of time. Well, actually, I don't think it was a long period of time, but basically there was a time on Twitch where there was a hot tub meta. And there was all these girls that are in hot tubs and all these guys watching them, obviously. And there was actually this case against Twitch for an addictive masturbator masturbating to all these girls. And that's probably what a lot of these guys are doing, let's be honest. But I think that's important to look at because you can still sort of do that type of stuff on Twitch. And, we aren't talking about the addictive masturbators out there, right? And, it's just funny where it's I think addictive masturbation can ruin your life, but we don't talk about that. We pick and choose what issues to talk about. But when it really comes down to it, I honestly think this is just virtual signaling. And that's probably what you're going to see in the thumbnail of this video. But I truly believe, in my heart, mind, soul, whatever you want to call it, that these people who give these takes on gambling for Twitch are just virtue signaling to their fans and to the wider audience out there just to make them come off as morally superior. And again, I'm not trying to say these people are bad people. I don't think Ludwig or Hassan are bad people, but ultimately I think they're just virtue signaling and saying the right things for their audience to hear.
A little thing can just make you just have the urge to bet. And it happens to me a lot. It happens to me a shit ton, but I try to avoid it because I have 15 employees and I don't want to let them all down and lose all their money. But it's scary. So I have a new rule, a new guideline that I think would solve gambling online and gambling on Twitch. No sponsored gambling streams. It's a simple rule. Do not allow sponsored gambling streams because there's two major problems with it. One, you have people who are getting a shit ton of money. Millions and millions of dollars. So they are gambling way more recklessly. I totally believe that Train is gambling with his own money, but he's also making so much fucking money that he's able to gamble $1 million and lose it in a day because he's going to get $10 million that month or some shit. And I don't think that that should be allowed. I think it's too reckless. If Train lost $1 million and had zero sponsor, he couldn't do this forever. He couldn't do it for a year straight because after 10 months, he would have zero fucking dollars in his bank account. Now, I'm not saying I want Train to lose all his money, but at least that wouldn't make him gamble for 38 hours straight, knowing that he always has the fallback next month of the cash cow coming back in. That's the first problem. People gambling too much money because they're getting paid too much money. The second problem are streamers who use fake money to gamble. Now, I don't think xQc or Train are doing this, but I do know this happens because it was in a CoffeeZilla video, and this is the main culprit. Steve will do it. I'll just roll the clip.
If I started like putting my own money in this, I feel like I feel like if I just filled myself with 4,000, it's like, right? Like I feel like I could like, but also it could be dangerous. But I see it as there's no point in putting my body or your mind through that type of stress. Right? Mm-hmm. I don't need it.
Yeah, definitely don't.
In a sponsored gambling stream in Mexico where he lives part-time to do these sponsored gambling streams, he came to the realization that, gambling with your own money could be stressful and bad for your life. That's crazy. That's how do you find that out then? That's like showing up to a KKK rally and being like, dude, they're racist here? Dude, I just thought it was like costume day. That's crazy to me. It makes no damn sense. But that's my new rule. Twitch, if you're watching this, maybe consider it. I don't know. I think it's good. No sponsored gambling streams. That would stop everything. And it would stop us from getting mad at a streamer for taking advantage of being able to make millions of dollars. Not that it's okay to do that because they're obviously aware and know that they're getting the return from their viewers. But we don't have to look to our streamers to be the beacons of morality when the platform can deal with all of that. But I don't know. Let me know. Maybe I'm being too forgiving for streamers. But I guess I know how it is. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you guys later. That's it. Have a good one. Goodbye.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. Ludwig's take was pretty good. I mean, I would say that take is honestly, I think would solve a lot of issues because we really think about it at the root of banning gambling sponsorships. Obviously, then all the people gambling wouldn't be able to do it forever because they wouldn't have the money to do it forever because eventually you would lose your money on gambling, over time. Even if you were extremely lucky, you would eventually lose money. And, if that were to be implemented, then it would cut back on gambling. I think there would still be people gambling, but it would be a lot lower stakes. Basically like, $5 bets here, $10 bets here. And they would basically only use like their Twitch donations or earnings or stuff to bet it. But it would be, again, just very much more low level. But I mean, overall, this entire situation, I think that gambling should be allowed on Twitch because, hey, if that's what the content creator wants to do, then that's what they want to do. And if it's allowed by Twitch, then I think they should be able to do it. But I don't know, maybe I'm giving just people like the benefit of the doubt more, or just kind of giving them the sort of freedom of choice where it's like, I don't think anyone would say the same thing about alcohol or drinking on stream or doing something else addicting. there could be a lot of addicting things, like just video games in general or other things, but yet all of these things could destroy our lives when it comes to video game addiction or drinking addiction, or gambling addiction. All these things, ruin our lives, but yet we only want to talk about this one. And I don't know, that's just my, dumb YouTuber take on it. Anyways, that's about it for the show. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And until next time, see ya.